What is up, everyone, and welcome to a very special Conradinho is on the road, so he has to shoot previews and predictions from wherever he can, which are always the best previews and predictions, let's be honest. And we're going to start with a game that is near and dear to my heart because I'm actually in Orlando for the game itself, and it's the US versus Panama. And if my country, tis a thee, wants to not miss the World Cup for the first time since 1986, then we best be kicking some Panama ass in this game because we're currently in 4th place, 1 point behind Panama for the last automatic spot to Russia. The tricky part is Panama have never ever qualified for the big dance before, and they know that if they win this game, they pretty much book their ticket, and the thought of that must be intoxicating for the players because playing in a World Cup is the highlight of any player's career. And even trickier for the US is that we didn't look fluid going forward in our last 2 games when Costa Rica and Honduras' defense stifled our attack for most of the game, and I guarantee you Panama has intensely studied what Costa Rica and Honduras did during those 2 games because you got to watch the tape. Because the tape shows all. Nobody could hide in the tape. And what they did well was stacking up Christian Pulisic so that he has someone kicking him right when he gets the ball, because that's what you do to the other team's best players. And then if he somehow gets past the first guy, making sure there's a second guy right there so he can pick up his head to see what's around him. Actually, so he can't pick up his head to see what's around him. That would make a lot more sense, which Costa Rica and Honduras did quite well. Which means someone else has to step up and help create to take some pressure off of Pulisic. He can't do it all by himself, which will ultimately give him some more space too, because if there's less guys around him, then he can do his thing and work his magic. And the top choice for that is the inclusion of playmaker Benny Feilhaber, who's an excellent passer of the ball and who has a very good IQ for the game. So we'll see if he starts. If he does, and we don't have any defenders making individual mistakes, which, let's be honest, are easy fixes if the guys can concentrate on doing the simple things perfect every time. That's what a coach used to tell me. For 90 minutes, you gotta do it for 90 minutes, then we're gonna win this 2-0. If not, I still think we survive with a 1-1 draw and then hope for the best in Trinidad, which means most likely settling for 4th place in the group like Mexico did in the last World Cup cycle, and then playing either Australia or Syria over a 2-legged playoff to see who qualifies. And I'm pretty confident that we can beat both of those countries over 2 legs, but still, this is not a good situation to be in. And I know you want me to dive in about whose fault it is that we're here in the first place. The players, the coaches, MLS, US Soccer. But who has time for that? Let's just go out there, leave the emotion out of it, be switched on when the whistle blows, and win the game. It's fucking simple. As is this next game between Spain and Albania, because Spain should win this no problem. But it's a little less simple for them now, who, despite needing only a win at home against Albania to essentially qualify for the World Cup since they have a superior goal differential to 2nd place Italy, who are 3 points behind them, and hopefully the table is right over my shoulder. The Spaniards are in the midst of some very heavy off-the-field political turmoil, which has a direct and personal impact on the country's best players, i.e. the players that play for Real Madrid and Barcelona, who sometimes get into it on social media. And Real Madrid plays in the country's capital, and the other ones play in Barcelona, and whether they want the title of this or not, they really act as a conduit for Catalan culture and values. So you have that going on, and then you add in the Dani Carvajal, Alvaro Morata, and Andres Iniesta issues because they're hurt, and they could be in trouble in this game. But you have to think that the players know that being unified as a team, no matter their differences, is an important reflection on the country as a whole. So I expect a pretty motivated performance, which I believe Spain's gonna win 3-1. And up next, we have Argentina versus Peru. Because will Leo Messi really not qualify for the World Cup after making it and losing sadly in 3 consecutive finals? Will FIFA let that happen? Of course they won't. And with 1st place Brazil already qualified and 2nd and 3rd place Uruguay and Colombia 1 win away, there's still quite a bit of jockeying for that next automatic spot and the 5th place playoff spot between 5 teams. Yes, you heard me correctly. 2 spots left for 5 teams, and all 5 of these teams are separated by 4 points. And there's only 2 games left. Peru is currently in 4th on 24 points, while Argentina also has 4 points but a worse goal differential. Chile has 23, Paraguay has 21, and Ecuador has 20, which makes Argentina's home game against Peru so vital. And the problem is, at least for Argentina, is that they need to win both games to book automatic passage to Russia, and they haven't won back-to-back games in qualifying in a year and a half. So I don't expect it to happen in these next 2 games, especially since they have a relatively new manager who looks like he's still tinkering, and this is no time for tinkering. Now my bet is that Argentina wins this one 1-0 on a late shady penalty. Also, all these other South American games are gonna be fit, lamb, so if you can watch any of them, it would be worth your time. That's just my 2 cents. And a valuable 2 cents it is. And next up, it's South Africa versus Burkina Faso. Because unlike any other continent in World Cup qualifying, you have to win one of the 5 groups to book your ticket to the World Cup. There's no playoff for getting second like they have in Europe. So this game is a must win for the toughest and most wide open group in Africa, Group D. And it's only wide open because South Africa inexplicably lost both of their games to the tiny island nation of Cape Verde. I think I said that right, Cape Verde. And this is important info too. They had their 2-1 win over Senegal annulled because the referee was accused of match manipulation, so they have to play it again. Yes, true story, which puts the standings as such. Hopefully it's right over here on my shoulder and big enough for you to read it. And with Burkina Faso, similar to Panama, which is being oh so close to qualifying for their first ever World Cup, you have to think they're going to be up for this match with a sense of nothing to lose, because it really is nothing to lose. There's no expectations on them whatsoever, while South Africa not only have expectation, but they have the embarrassment of losing to a country they shouldn't lose to twice, and the shame of being attached to a shady motherfucking referee. And honestly, I think that will be too much for them to overcome. And I like Burkina Faso to steal all 3 points here. I really do. I think it's going to be 2-1. And finally, let's run through all of the other groups in Europe that don't include Spain. In Group A, it's the incredibly talented France who are on top with 17 points, but only lead second place Sweden by 1 point after they drew with Luxembourg. Yes, Luxembourg, 0-0 in their last qualifier, which gives Sweden a chance to earn the automatic berth instead because they have Luxembourg at home before heading to go play Holland in Holland. And Holland, I've just said it 3 times in a row, need a miracle at this point since they're 3 points behind Sweden, which means Holland needs Sweden to lose or draw to Luxembourg, and I just don't see Sweden letting that happen, especially at home, even though Zlatan's not on the team. I mean, they can still win games without him, and they've proven it. In Group B, it comes down to 2 teams. Switzerland, who surprisingly lead the group with 24 points on 8 wins in their 8 games, and Portugal, who are in second on 21, but these two play each other one more time in the last game of the group in Portugal. So if Portugal can beat Andorra on the road, as they should, and I'm sure Cristiano Ronaldo is going to score 18 goals, and then take care of the Swiss at home, they will qualify automatically because of a superior goal difference, which is what I fully expect to happen. So there you go. That's my prediction. And then in Group C, Germany has 24 points, 5 more than Northern Ireland, but they play each other in Northern Ireland, so I guess there's a chance that Northern Ireland can nab all 3 points and hope the Germans lose to Azerbaijan at home in the final group game, which would help them win the group, but I put the chance of that happening at about 1 billion to 1. That said, congrats to Northern Ireland for their form during qualifying. They have been excellent, and I wouldn't want to face them over 2 legs in the playoff. I think they're going to be a tough team to beat. I really do. And then in Group D, Serbia is in. Well, not officially, but they're going to win the group. So it's going to come down to who gets second, with Ireland on 14 points and Wales on 13 points, battling it out, like literally battling it out, because they're going to face each other in Wales for the last game of the group, which will most likely determine who's going to make the playoff and who will not. So both countries have to have their biggest stars up for the challenge. Mine is Gareth Bale for Wales, who continues to get hurt at inopportune times. I don't know what his deal is. So I think Ireland is going to hang on with a draw, and I think they're going to get through. You heard it here first. Or actually, you probably heard it somewhere else first. But this is the first time that I've said that, so it's first to me. You guys know what I'm saying. And in Group B, it all comes down to Montenegro, because they are tied in second on 16 points with Denmark, which is 3 points behind group leaders Poland, but they have the benefit of playing both of these countries. First, they take on Denmark at home, and then they hit the road to play Poland, which means they are in a position to either win the group or not qualify at all. But at least they have their fate in their own hands, and that means something. And in Group F, and I believe the F stands for how many fucking groups are there in Europe? Jesus, there are so many. Anyway, barring a complete meltdown, England should win the group, so the fight for second is where things get exciting. Slovakia are currently in second on 15 points, while Slovenia and Scotland are in third on 14 points, but Scotland plays Slovakia at home, before heading on the road to play Slovenia. So, if you guys are doing the math at home like I'm doing the math in my head right now, they could end up sliding into second if they can conjure up some magic. But I get the sense that Slovakia and Slovenia aren't going to roll over for them. So we'll see if Scotland is up for it. And if they are, that means England, Wales or Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Scotland could all be vying for World Cup berths, which should make that part of the world beam with pride, right? United Kingdom. Yes, we are awesome. Or not. Actually, I'm not really sure if those countries give a shit about each other. And I don't think they're all under the United Kingdom umbrella. Is Ireland part of? I don't think they are. Is that? I should go back to school and get my degree. That would make my mom really proud. What's the next group? Oh, it's Group G, Spain and Italy. We already talked about them. So let's move to Group H, which Belgium already won, leaving Bosnia on 14 points and Greece on 13 points, vying for that second spot, obviously. But surprisingly, these two countries do not play each other in either one of these last two games. So it's going to come down to Belgium and Estonia for Bosnia, which could be hard if Belgium decides to play or if they don't really care. And Cyprus and Gibraltar for Greece, which sounds easy for the Greeks, but I doubt they will be. Plus, I think whichever country does get second is pretty much screwed because of their low point total, which means they're probably going to face the best second place team, which looks like either Portugal or Switzerland, who have been on fire throughout qualifying, or somebody else that I can't think of right now. Anyway, I mean, even if they get second, they're probably going to lose in the playoffs, so kind of sucks to be Bosnia and Greece. Sorry, guys. And saving the best for last, it's Group I, who have 4 countries that all have their fates in their own hands. Croatia and Iceland are on top with 16 points, though Croatia is on top due to better goal difference, and Turkey and Ukraine are tied with 14 points right behind them, and Croatia, get this, play home to Finland, which they have to win, and they should win, before they hit the road to try and get a result in Ukraine, which will not be easy, while Iceland play away at Turkey before coming home to face Kosovo, while Turkey play at home to Iceland while playing away to Finland. And I think that's the easiest of the last 2 games, with all due respect to my boy Mikko and his Finnish national team. And that's why I was pausing to think that through. While Ukraine are away to Kosovo before hosting Croatia. And do you guys get all that? Put that all together? If so, I think Croatia and Turkey are going to finish first and second respectively. Okay, that's it. I'm done. So I'll see you guys on Spencer FC's channel for the EE Wembley Cup on Saturday. Make sure you make some time for it. It's going to be really fun. You guys should watch. Later.